Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MJ Innocent Podcast. I'm your host, Moonwalker Tanya. Alright, so if you saw my post on the community tab, you know that A&E released a 2-part documentary about Michael called The People vs. Michael Jackson. I tried to keep an open mind about it. I'm still working on it. I still have both parts recorded on my DVR. Still working on part 1. There are things I found right away that I have to debunk, and I will get to that eventually. In the meantime, though, I do want to share one clip where they interviewed someone who we can truly trust.
A secret meeting was arranged in Orlando, Florida. I was taken into a room with all of Michael Jackson's advisors. In the back of the room was Michael Jackson, standing and looking at me very intensely. He never said a word, he never asked a question, but he had a very penetrating stare. He seemed to be very intensely studying who I was and how I reacted to things.
And the funny thing is, that's how I used to be with people when I was younger. Because, my classmates, they would always bully me and stuff. And then I had some issues with some teachers. And then I really began to wonder, who could I trust? And so I want to say by the time I was a teenager, I started to study people and decide, based on what I examined, if I could trust them or not. Now, unfortunately, there are some times when I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it always comes back to haunt me. And I mean, we know that Michael's been through that more times than we can count.
And his handlers and friends were asking me all the questions.
Did you ask him if he did it?
I did. He said absolutely not. He swore to me up and down, Tom, I would never do a thing like this. And I absolutely believe him 100%.
Even though some people may try to say that I personally can't say that Michael Jackson is 100% innocent. Well, guess what? I've said it many times before, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm proven wrong. I do believe that Michael Jackson is 100% innocent because in life and even in death, the accusers only went after money. Their allegations completely fell apart, and when Michael was investigated harder than any serial killer on record, the authorities went above and beyond and found nothing. They raided his homes and other properties multiple times. They took his computers, his hard drives, his videotapes, his books, his magazines. They found nothing. They completely turned his house upside down. They tortured Michael. They even tapped his phone calls. Nothing. And Michael didn't deserve to be treated like this. I know that Michael trusted people too easily, and that came back to haunt him. I've made that mistake too. But after doing 7 years of research, while that jerk, Dan Reed, who did 0 research and made those 2 one-sided mockumentaries, can say that Michael is 100% guilty? Well, guess what, Baldy? I believe that Michael is 100% innocent, and you would not last 1 minute in a debate against me. Just like that dumbass queen of the MJ hate community, she wouldn't last 1 minute against me. And to even prove how scared Dan Reed actually is of strong defenders, John Ziegler offered to debate with Dan Reed. He refused. He is so weak. But after arguing with so many haters over the years, they're just as weak. So what I will say is that if Wade and James ever wanted us to put doubt on Michael's innocence, like I've mentioned before, they would have to take multiple brutal polygraph tests to make them sweat to get the actual truth out of them. And if they had physicals, but they refused. So I'm not going to put any doubt. Money doesn't solve anything. It does not matter if the accused is a celebrity or the average Joe. Wade and James were well aware of what sexual abuse was. When Michael was investigated, they were questioned in '93. And to be fair, yes, Wade and James were kids back then. Even Todd Jackson said that if they didn't understand sexual abuse at that time, that's one thing. But in '05, Wade was the star witness for the defense. And according to Tom Mesereau, James submitted a statement saying that Michael never touched him inappropriately. And let's see, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so they were both in their 20s by that point. So they were well aware. And not only, it's like they were not just asked the question like, did Michael Jackson molest you? Nope. Okay, well, thanks for coming in. No, they went into graphic details. Very specific graphic questions. And they still said no. So they were well aware of what sexual abuse was. They had multiple opportunities to come forward. They had the '93 case, the '05 case, and even Tom Sneddon had a hotline set up where people could call anonymously. Tom Sneddon went all over the world wasting so much taxpayer dollars trying to find kids who would accuse Michael, and no one did it. There were people who even tried to accuse Michael who never even met him. And I know some people say that these civil lawsuits can be helpful when an alleged victim might need therapy. Who on earth needs $1.5 billion worth of therapy? No. Wade and James are not doing well financially. That is the only reason they came forward. Wade was rejected for the MJ1 show. James' family business was being sued for a lot of money. They were well aware of what sexual abuse was. But they waited until Michael was dead, where they couldn't be sued for defamation, and the civil case was their only option. Only a dumbass would think that they're being genuine. And I don't care what anybody has to say about what I do to defend Michael. I'm not going to let anyone try to control me ever again. I promise you guys that. Until something is actually proven that Michael Jackson was guilty, he is 100% innocent. Hearsay does not make you guilty. Not to mention the fact that Wade has a fake charity where the minimum you donate is $250. Not to mention that, but James actually tried to play dumb on their podcast, which is also terrible, because they interview doctors and real survivors of CSA while they're not victims themselves. And then they're also doing online hotline scams where, even though it says on their website that they are not licensed counselors and they have no experience, they can help people with any problem imaginary. And they charge you, depending on how much you make, $100 to $250 an hour. And they also charge you $50 to send them an email. But it's not about money, right? seriously, to anyone who needs to seek help, go to a professional. And not someone who claims to be a professional. I'm talking about somebody who is licensed, who has a PhD. That's who you should reach out to. Alright, so again, thank you to Tom Mesereau, and I will let you guys know when I find out more stuff from this 2-part special. And yeah, I love what I do, and I will always defend Michael until there is a reason why I shouldn't. And I'm not worried. Alright, so let's have a great conversation in the comments. If you love my content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. But if you are a MJ hater who will believe Wade and James no matter what, despite that all the information and all the research and sources out there to prove that these are just scams for money, then you can beat it, because I don't have the time or patience to deal with you. I am here not just for the fans, but to educate people who actually want to know the truth so they can stop being misinformed by the stupid media, stupid tabloids, and the dumb-ass haters. But if you are dumb enough to believe Wade and James, then that's your mistake. But I'm not going to follow you.